welcome to another edition of Passive Income Central with your host, me, Mr. Luke Evan Brooks. And today I want to talk to you about the things that you need to know about, the 5 things you need to know about when you're renting a car on Turo. Now, this is for people who are renting their cars out to customers and for customers who are getting those cars rented out, right? So make sure you pay attention. If you're new to this channel, first off, go ahead, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel where I'm going to update you on not just with Turo products, but with other products to help you make a passive or semi-passive income. So let's go ahead and get to it. So as we're living in the day of people doing the gig economy, meaning that, we're not working typical 9 to 5 jobs. And one of those avenues now is called Turo. Turo allows you to go ahead and use your own personal vehicle to make money by renting it out to other consumers out in America, Canada, the UK, and Australia. Now, I've been doing this for quite some time, right? I was dealing with another entity and I got myself involved with Turo, and I have grown my fleet to about 4 cars right now. And they're continuing to grow. At this rate, I've been making all my money back on all my vehicles that I have on there. I have 2 finance vehicles, and the rest of the vehicles, the other 2 are totally paid off. And I'm telling you, it's good money. But I want to talk to you about some of the ins and outs of Turo. So looking into this, you have insurance coverage. Now, it's important to understand insurance coverage. As a host, you have different options for the protection plan. It can go where you don't want any coverage and you make the most profit, to where you have the most coverage, but you have significant margin declines on your profit margin. So that's something to take in consideration. And depending on your vehicle, it could play a factor. Now, you could change all of the options that you want to with your insurance, but you want to make sure you do it before. So, what that means is that, hey, is my vehicle covered when it's not being rented out? No, you should already have your own insurance. But for good measure, make sure you get commercial insurance. It's slightly expensive, but at the end of the day, when you're talking to your insurance adjuster or whoever it is that's going to be handling your insurance claim, you don't want them to be like, hey, this car is supposed to be used for personal use only, not business use only. And you don't want to get caught up in no litigation or fraud or anything like that. So, ratings. Ratings can dictate where you can make it or break it. Right now, Charlotte, North Carolina, I basically have 5-star review ratings that puts me at the top. Right now, you might say, "Well, we're gonna have that," but back to back as a host, like from the very get go, I've always been a 5-star host. My stuff started to go down slightly based off customers who had negative reviews, and that was just based off what they felt that they should deserve. For example, things that's out of your control. For Charlotte, right now, you have the airport. The airport is charging high prices for their valet service. There's no other way around it. You can't do any self parking. You have to go through them. You have to pay a fee. The customer feels like in their mind, even if you might explain to them that, hey, I don't make any money off this. This is coming from the airport. They look at the airport and you as the same, and they can mark you on it. So just take that in consideration. And then you might have some customers who just say that they're good with the car, perfect with the car, but at the end of the day, they feel like they want you to do more and more. So, you don't let that get to you. But as a customer looking into Turo, those ratings will tell you how the person's car is. You can look at everything that might have been issues with the car that people will say and what the hosts say too. So usually when a customer says something about my vehicle, and if it's valid, I address it. If it's not valid, you won't see those remarks because I go to Turo. And as a host too, if you get negative reviews from a customer that you know that's a lie, for example, it might say your brakes had issues. Now, it's a reason for that. You might have customers say that because they may want to get out of your car and go for another car for a different price, or they feel like they can get a discount. Just be mindful of that right there. But Turo will allow you to remove those remarks if you got proof to show that there's nothing wrong with your vehicle. There's no defect wrong with the vehicle, no mechanical defect. That's going to cover you and remove that review right there. Now, communication and clarification. That's very important. When you're dealing with communication with the customer, you should have automation systems put in place. With my fleet, I've used automation on every single one of my cars. And what that means basically is that I'm allowing people to talk to me right when they book the vehicle. I'm sending them a message. When it comes to 24 hours before the rental starts, I'm sending a message, giving them a code and everything to unlock the car. When it comes down to the trip's about to end, I give them a reminder message. And when the trip is over with, I'm giving them a reminder to give me a 5-star review. If you got those basic messages, you can do very well. For a host to have that is very essential. You gonna have a fleet, right? A fleet of 16 cars, 20 cars, 35 cars. You want to have something in place that can manage that for you. Now, does that mean that you don't have to write or talk to them actual? No, it helps supplement you doing the very basic thing as far as copy and pasting is already built in and allows you to do that. Now, for the customer, right? The guest, this is very important. You definitely want to have the Turo Messenger app. That way, you cover yourself. You can talk to the host. They should be talking to you on that app. You can do text message. You can do telephone calls. But at the end of the day, if there's any issue, you want to have the black and white coming from the Turo platform itself. Additional fees and charges. Now, for a host, some fees can apply with your guests that might do something for as tickets, tolls, fuel, miles. One of the things that comes in play for a guest is when they are checking in the car. For cleanliness, you want to make sure the car is clean. You want to make sure you take pictures. You want to document everything. You want to make sure the fuel level is what they say it is, as far as when I say they, the host, and make sure there's no issues with the vehicle before you take off. I've seen it where guests just jump in the car and everything's okay, but if something goes wrong, they don't have anything to back them up with. And as a host, I don't want the guests to get upset, because sometimes you will encounter folks on a platform, whether it's a host or a guest, that might say, hey, this was already like this, but they don't have any documentation. So I recommend on both sides of the aisle to make sure you document everything. Cleaning fees can get you in trouble if you bring a car out very muddy. Fees that can hurt you hard is really with the cleaning. I've seen it where guests who brought the vehicle back with cigarette smells, ash, too much sand, mud in the car, vomiting, things like that. Turo will allow the host to actually make sure that they get compensated for it. So be mindful of that. Now, cancellation policy. With the cancellation policy, for both the hosts and the guests, it varies, right? For example, if I'm the host and I want to cancel on my guest who booked the vehicle, expecting the vehicle to be ready for them, I would be charged a fee depending on what that fee is for that vehicle. Now, the exception to that rule is if you have a safety concern. And if you got a safety concern, you have to call Turo, and Turo will down that car for you with no fee at all. But the caveat to that is that they're going to go ahead and put your car on a do not book list, meaning that your car has to be cleared by a certified mechanic or repair shop. For the guests, it's slightly different. For them, they can cancel all the way up to 24 hours without paying anything. And if a guest goes beyond that timeline, let's say, hey, what if I book the vehicle 2 hours before my trip? You have an hour before that trip starts to go ahead and cancel. But let's say you fall within the 24 hours. Let's say you booked the vehicle last month, November 16th, and you're going to get the vehicle here sometime December. Let's say tomorrow, December 2nd. You get the vehicle, right? And you're about to, and you say, I want to cancel. So, well, since you fell within that 24-hour mark, you can cancel, but they're going to charge you a prorated fee for that day. That fee is going to go back to the host who took the time out to get the car ready and take care of it. With that in mind, too, as well, the customer can cancel the trip if they feel like it's not safe. And let me explain that to you. Let's say your vehicle breaks down as the host and they rented the vehicle and they're somewhere else. And it's happened to me before. They say vehicle won't start up, and it may be your fault as the host. You check the battery, or it could be the guest for leaving something on. Whatever. If it comes to something like that, it will cancel that trip for that guest, and then you have to make sure your vehicle gets back to you, which Turo will provide a tow to tow your vehicle for you and get everything taken care of as far as making sure you do the maintenance on your vehicle if there's any maintenance issues. And they're going to give you documentation to get your mechanic to sign off and say your car's good to go. That's the only other way right there. So that's something to take in consideration. So to summarize what we talked about today, we talked about the insurance coverage, the vehicle reviews, the communication, the additional fees and charges, and the cancellation policy. So I hope that this helps you out. Again, guys, my name is Mr. Luke from Brooks. If you ever have a question about Turo, how the policy goes, how all these things go, I have something better for you. I have a course that I've created called the Turo Master Course. This course is going to run you A through Z on how to become a super host. Not just a host, but a super host. A super host basically gets the top pick. When your vehicle is being listed in your superhost, they put you at the very top. So when people are looking to rent a vehicle, whether they're coming in out of town or they're just renting it locally, your car comes first in mind. So that's something to take into consideration. I'm going to teach you the ins and outs of remote check-in, teach you how to pick your vehicle, teach you how to make sure that you're doing the right things when you're dealing with your customers and talking to your customers. And I'm going to put you onto loops of what I'm using as the exact tools to price my cars to create a 90% booking each and every month. This has been proven to work. I've been doing it for over a year just with the Turo platform, and I want to provide this for you. So don't wait. This special is going to go away after the new year. So definitely jump on it. The link is going to be down in the description. So definitely jump on it. Again, my name is Mr. Luke Brooks. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think you want to be a host? You have concerns about being a guest? Drop down those comments down below. I'll talk to you later. Take care.